I wanted to talk about another piece of my childhood and something that made me an enthusiast and made me who I am today. Um, and that instantly brought me to the thought of Lightwater Valley, a park located in North Yorkshire, about an hour-ish away from Flamingo Land. And yeah, a park in which I built so many memories and what was part of my um, growing up of theme parks and roller coasters, and a park in which now I don't ever feel like I'm going to visit. Not ever, but maybe in a very long time. So I think today is the day where we talk about that and we talk about Lightwater Valley and its changes. So this is us talking about Lightwater Valley, the park that was changed by the pandemic forever.
How long has he been like this?
Ever since we took him to Lightwater Valley.
Oh, well, give him a couple of days' rest. I'm sure he'll be fine. Next!
So before we talk about the changes that have been made, let's run through a brief history of the park and see what journey they've been on. So the park originally opened. It actually didn't originally open as a theme park, though. It was opened as a farm. It was actually a pig farm run by a man called Robert Staveley. The farm in 1969 turned into a fruit farm and actually became an attraction where you could go and pick fruit, ride on a tractor, and just go around the fields. But 7 years after 1969, there was a major drought where most of the fruit was dying. There wasn't really much to grow, and they were losing a lot of revenue on that front. So Robert Staveley thought, you know what, I'm going to turn my farmland into an attraction. So that's what he did, and he had his lake, and he had the area around the lake where he built different rides, different play areas, and had lots of success with it, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And it got even more popular. So what did Robert do? He added more rides. Um, he added the Twin Looper, which I can't actually remember the name of, but that coaster was there for a long time. It then moved on to American Adventure. He also added the Rat, if you remember that coaster, and also the Falls of Terror, which is their dinghy slide that was also added in the sort of the early 90s. And then Robert Staveley thought, well, at this point, I think we really need a coaster. So in sort of 1989 to 1990, planning was made where Robert Staveley actually went around the land that he wanted to do through the trenches that he had to mark out where he wanted the world at the time, but was then Europe's longest roller coaster. And he wanted something big. He wanted a main attraction to bring people from all around the world to his park. So construction started in early 1990. Was actually started by Big Country Motioneering, which is a company who did a few smaller rides at a few other parks. Then problems happened with them with manufacturing and other stuff like that. And there was a lot of legal action between the two companies. And then the coaster was actually originally finished by British Rail, which is a strange company to have building a coaster. You would not expect them to do it. But yes, British Rail actually built the majority of the Ultimate at Lightwater Valley. And the coaster then ended up opening in 1992. And it opened with great success. People came from all around the world, all different places to come and ride it. And it was an absolutely huge hit. It opened with over the shoulder restraints, though, which I do find a bit interesting of a decision as well. But those were actually changed later down the years. for rider comfort, as the ride started off rough and continued to be very rough, but was an awesome coaster to be on. Absolutely crazy it was. But the park after that, they just kept on growing. They added more rides. They added their spinning coaster by Revachon. They added probably one of the best flat rides I've ever come across. Um, in the UK, the Eagle's Claw. Eagle's Claw is a fantastic ride. One of my favourite flat rides. It still is to this day. They added, other rides, several things. They added a pirate area, which a few of those rides actually came from a defunct theme park in Scotland. Which I actually visited as a child. I don't remember visiting it at all, but I actually did visit it when I was very, very young. But yeah, a couple of those rides came from there, and they originally had a pirate ship anyway, which they added into that area, and the park was going in a really strong direction. Of all of these additions, a mixture of family and thrill, there was something, as they said, for all the family, and it really was. Seemed like Lightwater Valley was going in a really strong direction, and then they started adding, more rides to their lineup. They started moving rides around, adding different things. Even had an enterprise there, which was called a Black Widow's Web. They had a Mondale Top Scan Whirlwind. That was probably one of the best Mondale Top Scans I've ever been on. Whirlwind, and then they changed the Rat to Raptor Attack as well, and that was absolutely a crazy themed experience. One of the best dark coasters like you'd find out there. Like, it was the simplest of theme in thinking that you'd go down under the ground, and in what you're thinking is you go in underground to see these prehistoric dinosaurs, but in actual fact you were just walking down a set of stairs behind a hill into a warehouse. And it was the same for the Rat as well. You felt like you were going into like the Rat's caves and all this, and it was really, honestly, really well done by Lightwater Valley. And they just kept on adding more and more, and it seemed like the park was heading in a really strong direction, and it really was. 2018, 2019 came, wasn't really much investment going on. Black Widow's Web left the park, and they replaced it with a waltzer, which I didn't think was the greatest move. And this is where we started to unfortunately see the decline of Lightwater Valley. And just you could tell that budget and finances were an issue within this park, and they were having to make cuts to keep themselves alive, which was sad to see, because this park really had something. It really was building something up really great. And then unfortunately 2020 hit and the pandemic struck, and that took a massive toll. I mean, not just on Lightwater Valley, all theme parks, everything took a toll on the entire world. But Lightwater Valley, it's not what they needed at all for their progress and the already declining progress that they had. It was not great to see. So 2020 came around, and the park opened later that year and later into 2021. The Ultimate was unable to run because they weren't able to run it at full capacity, so the coaster could not make the full circuit every single time, because the problem that the Ultimate had was it kept stalling at the end. It wouldn't make it round the entire circuit because it didn't have enough weight in the train, because that coaster was so, like, the design of that is just absolutely bonkers. That coaster, just the whole thing about it is just so unique. It really is. So yeah, 2020 went by, 2021 went by. No confirmation of whether it was going to open or not. And then we heard at the end of 2021 that the Ultimate would be closing forever. And the coaster had been in operation for 30 years. Nearly 30 years. The Ultimate had been in operation for, and yeah, that one hit hard. Seeing the pictures and videos of that being torn down, that hit hard, really did. But yeah, I mean, even now, you get emotional over it. It's nothing you want to see. Like, you create so many good memories on that coaster. I remember riding the Ultimate in the rain, and what an experience that was, riding that coaster in the rain. Oh my god. Just absolute, just mayhem. Like, rain getting absolutely blasted at you, just being thrown around in that coaster train. It was, what an experience that was. It's something just so unique you wouldn't find anywhere in the world. And it was so close to home. I mean, like, I lived about an hour and a half away. That was my closest major theme park to me. And yeah, just to have something so unique there was awesome. And this is where we just saw the change. I wouldn't necessarily say now in decline, because I think the direction in which the park has gone, because of their a more family direction, mainly for families, under the age of, like, kids under the age of 12. And for me, that's not something that I'm necessarily drawn to. Or, I mean, not that I'm not drawn to it, I think it's something that I wouldn't rush to go back to, that I would have in previous years, where there was a lot more thrill rides and a lot more for, the thrill seekers, and a lot more for the adults to do. But yeah, I think those changes going in the family direction. I mean, we saw the removal of Black Pearl, the inverting pirate ship. We saw the removal of Raptor Attack, which was really, really sad to see. But yeah, I think Lightwater Valley is now a family kids park for toddlers. And I think that is the direction they're going in. I think that's the direction they'll stay in, because it seems like it's working for them. It seems like they've had some success from it. So, as I said from the beginning, can I see myself going to Lightwater Valley anytime soon? No. Will I go there in the future, in years' time? Possibly. I might see myself go down at some point. But there's no rush. I don't see any rush. I think I'm still a bit heartbroken from seeing all of that go. Seeing those memories disappear, which is, is a bit sad. But whatever works for them, whatever they find success in, and I hope they do find success at Lightwater Valley, because it's a park that deserves it, and it's a park that has so much history to it that I think they deserve, to stay alive in the theme park industry, which is a very competitive and challenging industry to be in. But yeah, I mean, there's my it wasn't a rant today, but a very meaningful talk about the Lightwater Valley theme park in Yorkshire. If you like the video, like, comment and subscribe would be a big help to the channel, and I will see you all later.